Welcome to Module 2 of the Non-Residential Lighting Controls video series. In this module, we'll focus on technologies and requirements specific to area controls under the 2016 Energy Standards. Viewers will learn about the general area control devices, the mandatory requirements for these controls, and relevant forms and tables needed to document compliance. In this module, we'll define area controls, go over the specific requirements for indoor area controls, we'll discuss exactly where and when they're needed, and the forms needed to document compliance with the energy standards. Area controls are mandatory for all buildings regulated under the standards. But first, what are area controls? Area controls are simply manual on-off lighting controls. Area controls form the primary lighting control layer in any building. These controls can be a simple on-off toggle switch, a slide dimmer with full off functionality, or a bank of area control buttons that control multiple zones of lighting in a space. Now that we know how area controls are defined, let's discuss specific requirements for indoor area controls. All luminaires in each area enclosed by ceiling height partitions must be independently controlled from luminaires in other areas using fully functional area controls. Manual on-off area controls must be readily accessible to building occupants and be located in the same room or area as the lighting they control. There is one general exception to the mandatory area control requirements. Up to 0.2 watts per square foot of lighting in any area within a building may be continuously illuminated during occupied times to allow for means of egress. The controls for egress lighting cannot be accessible to the general public, and the area they control must be designated as a means of egress on building plans. There are also two exceptions to the accessibility requirements. In malls and atria, auditoriums, retail merchandise sales areas, wholesale showroom areas, commercial and industrial storage areas, general commercial and industrial work areas, convention centers, and arenas, the lighting control must be located so that a person using the lighting controls can see the lights or area controlled, or so that the area being lit is enunciated. Also, in certain types of common areas, such as multi-stall public restrooms, parking areas, stairwells, and corridors, manual controls can be located in areas accessible only to authorized personnel. Other lighting controls may be installed in addition to area controls, but they cannot override the area controls functionality. Occupants must always be allowed to manually turn their lighting on and off when needed. In addition to separate manual controls for each area, some types of lighting must also be independently controlled, even if they occupy the same space. General lighting must be separately controlled from all other lighting systems in an area like accent or task lighting. Floor and wall display, window display, case display, ornamental, or special effects lighting must also be separately controlled, plus be tied to circuits that are 20 amps or less. When track lighting is used, general, display, ornamental, and special effects lighting must be separately controlled if included on the same track. Next, we will discuss certificates of compliance and installation. Area controls must be documented on Certificate of Compliance and Installation. Form NRCC-LTI-01-E is required for all buildings. This is the Certificate of Compliance for indoor lighting. NRCC-LTI-02-E is used to document lighting controls installed to comply with the standards. Area controls must be noted in Table A and listed separately in Table B. Following installation, compliance is documented on Certificate of Installation NRCI-LTI-01-E. Area controls are not directly called out, but the form must be completed to show compliance with the lighting control requirements in general. Acceptance testing is not required for area controls unless the device also provides another form of control that requires testing. An example of this would be a wall-mounted digital on-off switch with an integrated occupancy sensor. The device would require acceptance testing to ensure compliance with shutoff control requirements contained in Section 130.1c of the energy standards. Before we end this module, let's review what we've learned. We learned that area controls are manual on-off controls that control lighting in each area separately. Some types of lighting, like accent and general area lighting, must be controlled separately even if they are in the same space. Area controls must be accessible to occupants, except in certain specific cases, and up to 0.2 watts per square foot of lighting is exempt from area control requirements if it meets certain requirements related to building egress. This concludes Module 2. For more information on non-residential lighting controls, please visit the Energy Commission website at energy.ca.gov/Title 24/2016 standards.